When we use the phrase organizational culture, what do we exactly mean? Is culture a set of protocols? Is culture a set of norms? While people in an organization might come and go, how is the culture retained? More importantly, is culture retained at all? Leads us to another important question. Is culture static? Does culture building require a conscious effort? Now that a lot of organizations have had the taste of working remotely, is culture building the same as it was before? Over the years, my understanding of organizational culture has also evolved. If I were to explain the phrase in very simple words, I would say culture is a set of expected behaviors in an organization that are rewarded and reinforced pertaining to a particular group. Now, for the expected behaviors, there needs to be a precedence. Who sets the precedence? The leaders? In the recent times, very often I have heard the HRs branding themselves as culture custodians. Can the HR team alone be the architect of culture building in an organization? Is culture taught or is it felt? The more I interact with my colleagues and my peers in other organizations, the more I realize that culture is starting to become this obscure term that is very often slipping into the leadership vocabulary and conversations. However, the experience of culture within different corners of the same organization may not be the same, which definitely implies that the experience of culture may not be uniform even in the same homogeneous group. You and I can be a part of the same organization and walk away with very different and sometimes even contradictory experiences. So one thing is for sure, culture cannot be this thing that is taught during the onboarding and then forgotten. It needs to be regularly reinforced. A lot of organizations have extremely well articulated values through which they expect the culture to live on. And in my opinion, this is the right way to go, except for the fact that there are enough stories which are lacking and that are not articulated regularly for that culture to live on. And therefore, over a period of time, the culture slowly dissipates and sometimes is even replaced by a completely different culture. The Berlitz, the TMC group, in their extensive research, have always pointed out that culture is dynamic. It is like an amoeba that changes shape regularly. In a world where organizations are onboarding new talent regularly and also losing experienced folks to attrition, it is important that culture is reinforced in whatever way possible. A shifting culture should be okay, but not having a culture at all wouldn't do much to the pride element of employees. Yes, culture brings pride. So organizations, when they want to instill pride in their employees, can do this in a few simple steps. The first step would be to identify if there already exists a culture that they may not have recognized already. Is this culture in line with the values? Either way, the organizations need to come up with a set of expected behaviors. They need to find the right examples on a regular basis where the behaviors are upheld and even in the most adverse situations, they are followed. These stories slowly become legends, and these legends are then celebrated. The next step would be to regularly reinforce these stories and examples. Sometimes the culture, if it is really close to the organization, even incentivization could be explored. At the same time, it is also important for the organization leadership to continuously re-evaluate the culture in the organization. Sometimes they may want to consciously shift the culture depending on the company's strategy and vision. For culture evangelization, here is a simple framework that I thought could be useful. A-R-E, R. R, A stands for awareness, R stands for recognition, and E stands for exhibition. When a new employee is onboarded, he starts with awareness. Helping them understand what the organization values are is critical for the culture to live on. This is where you help them learn, appreciate, and recall the culture. The second stage is recognition. Here, the organization enables the employees to identify opportunities, understand the possible dilemma, and help them choose the right alternative, which is in line with the value system of the organization. The final stage is exhibition, where the employees are to have internalized the culture. They also feel a sense of pride in influencing their peers also to uphold the values while upholding it themselves. And when this cycle repeats, the culture lives on. It might evolve, but it lives on. Let us not forget, while societal culture is taught in the formative years, organizational culture, on the other hand, is felt and experienced. Thank you.